History loves its heroes, the names that fill textbooks and monuments. But for every Edison, Newton, or Einstein, there were others. Brilliant minds whose ideas came first, only to be stolen, buried, or forgotten. Some were victims of politics, others of circumstance. And a few were simply too far ahead of their time for the world to understand. Tonight, we uncover the stories of 10 people who shaped modern civilization, but whose names history almost erased. These are the forgotten geniuses of history. 1. Nicholas Otto, the man who made cars possible. Everyone knows Carl Benz and Henry Ford, the men who revolutionized the automobile. But few remember Nicholas Otto, the man who made the gasoline engine possible. In 1876, Otto patented the 4-stroke internal combustion engine, the Otto cycle. Without it, Benz's car wouldn't run, Ford's assembly line would mean nothing, and the 20th century would look very different. Yet Otto died nearly unknown outside Germany, while others became legends on the engines he designed. 2. Rosalind Franklin, the real discoverer of DNA structure. You've heard of Watson and Crick, the duo credited with discovering the double helix. But the truth? They built their model using data from Rosalind Franklin, a British chemist and X-ray crystallographer. Her Photo 51 was the first clear image showing DNA's helical shape. Watson and Crick saw it without her permission, built their model, and took the Nobel Prize. Franklin? She died 4 years later, unrecognized, yet her photograph remains one of the most important in scientific history. 3. Hedy Lamarr, Hollywood's inventor of Wi-Fi. She was known as one of the most beautiful actresses of her time, but Hedy Lamarr was also an inventor, engineer, and visionary. During World War II, she co-created a frequency-hopping system to secure radio signals from enemy interception, a technology that later became the foundation of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Her patent was ignored by the US military, and she received no recognition during her lifetime. Today, we use her ideas every single day, on our phones, routers, and smart devices. The world called her a movie star. History should have called her a genius. 4. Ignaz Semmelweis, the doctor who discovered clean hands. In the mid-1800s, hospitals were deadly. 1 in 3 mothers died of infection after childbirth. Then came Ignaz Semmelweis, a Hungarian doctor who noticed something simple. Doctors who washed their hands lost fewer patients. He ordered everyone to clean their hands with chlorinated water, and deaths plummeted. But his colleagues mocked him, called him insane. He was fired, institutionalized, and died in an asylum. Years later, when germ theory became accepted, the world finally realized Semmelweis had been right all along. Today, every bar of soap and hand sanitizer owes him a silent debt. 5. Lise Meitner, the woman behind the atomic age. When scientists split the atom, the world changed forever. The discovery was credited to Otto Hahn, who won the Nobel Prize in 1944. But the real genius behind the theory of nuclear fission was his collaborator, Lise Meitner, an Austrian Jewish physicist who had to flee Nazi Germany. Working from exile, Meitner explained how uranium atoms could split and release massive energy, a principle that powered both the atomic bomb and modern nuclear power plants. Yet she never received official recognition. Einstein called her the German Marie Curie, but history called her forgotten. 6. Antonio Meucci, the true inventor of the telephone. Ask anyone who invented the telephone, and they'll say Alexander Graham Bell. But decades before Bell's patent, an Italian immigrant named Antonio Meucci built a working voice communication device in his basement. He demonstrated it publicly in 1860 and filed a temporary patent. But he couldn't afford to renew it, and when he sent his prototypes to the Western Union lab, they mysteriously disappeared. 2 years later, Bell patented his telephone. In 2002, yes, 2002, the U.S. Congress officially recognized Meucci as the true inventor of the telephone. It only took 140 years to give him back his voice. 7. Mary Anning, the woman who discovered the age of reptiles. In the early 1800s, a poor fossil collector named Mary Anning spent her days digging along the cliffs of Lyme Regis in England. At age 12, she uncovered the world's first ichthyosaurus skeleton, a discovery that changed paleontology forever. She went on to find dozens of prehistoric creatures, proving that Earth was far older than the Bible claimed. But because she was a woman and poor, male scientists took credit for her work for decades. Today, museums worldwide display fossils she found, but few visitors know her name. 8. Philo Farnsworth, the teenager who invented television. Before Netflix, before YouTube, before television was even imagined, there was Philo Farnsworth, a 14-year-old farm boy from Utah. In 1927, he built the world's first working electronic television system, years before RCA's industrial giants. He held the patents, the proof, and the vision. But RCA's lawyers crushed him. They stole his technology, dragged him through endless court battles, and drained his finances. By the time the world embraced television, Farnsworth was broke and forgotten. He once said, "I know that I'll be remembered someday, just not in time to enjoy it." He was right. 9. Henrietta Lacks, the immortal woman. In 1951, a young African-American woman named Henrietta Lacks entered Johns Hopkins Hospital with cervical cancer. Without her knowledge or consent, doctors took a sample of her cells and discovered something extraordinary. Her cells didn't die. They multiplied endlessly. Those HeLa cells became the first immortal human cell line, used to develop vaccines, cancer treatments, and even study space radiation. For decades, her family didn't even know. Pharmaceutical companies made billions, but Henrietta's name was nearly erased from history. Today, her cells are still alive, growing in labs all around the world. She is, quite literally, immortal. 10. Alan Turing. The man who invented the computer. Without Alan Turing, the modern world would not exist. He built the first programmable computer, cracked Nazi Germany's Enigma code, and laid the foundation for artificial intelligence. But because Turing was gay, the British government didn't celebrate him. It destroyed him. He was prosecuted, chemically castrated, and died under mysterious circumstances in 1954. It took nearly 60 years for Britain to apologize. Today, we carry his legacy in every laptop, smartphone, and algorithm. He taught machines to think and paid the ultimate price for it. Conclusion. These forgotten geniuses remind us that history isn't always fair. For every great invention we celebrate, there's often someone in the shadows, the real spark behind the flame. Their stories prove that brilliance doesn't guarantee fame, and sometimes the world's greatest minds are those it never truly sees. So next time you use your phone, watch TV, wash your hands, or browse Wi-Fi, remember the names behind the names, the forgotten geniuses who built the future we live in.